All right. So, hello everyone and welcome back to Factorio. So, let's just click resume and get right into it. So, last time we left off, we were working on Fulgora, and if I recall correctly, we had been basically in the middle of setting up our recycling system for all the various inputs. So you can see here we have gear wheels going out, we have solid fuel, and we have ice. Now the gear wheel loop is working, probably. It's kind of hard to tell for sure whether it's keeping up with it or not, but I guess that's something we can figure out later. The solid fuel loop, oh, right. So the solid fuel loop isn't limited enough to be a problem. And it's probably the same for the ice cube loop. Yes. So, the next step is to just find the next thing that's limiting us and fix that. So that is going to be either stone and or concrete. It's hard to tell which. Let's just get both done. So, we are going to go up here probably. Just have it nice and conveniently placed. Let's get the Spidertron up there so that we can get all this built. Now we're going to need to run the drone ports out, and that is going to need power poles as well. And then we're going to need to run even more power poles out in a minute once we're going places. Alright, so apparently this area is also not covered for storms, so let's get a lightning collector in there. And we have a Spidertron up here. So let's just get a random lightning collector there. Okay. And it looks like this power grid didn't quite connect up, so let's get one more up there. And then get that all built in. Alright, cool. Now we just need somewhere in here. I made this copy paste thing, and this goes diagonally, so it's not perfect, but it should be good enough probably. So we just need we need to place the big electrical poles in. So that goes into there, and then we paste this in, and we just need to make sure that the electrical poles connect across. So that goes up to there. And then that's honestly most of the way. This one's pretty close. So let's get it all built. And then we just have to get up onto land. And just something like this. Alright, so that gets us to the general vicinity of where we're going. And once all that gets built, then that'll happen as well. So now we need to get the actual setup. Now we have this sort of copy paste thing that we can just grab that and just place it in however is convenient. And this, I clicked a weird button and scrolled it or something. I don't know what I even did there. There's like some weird thing where you input some specific keybinds and it like messes with the exact order of everything, but I don't know how to do that consistently. Alright, so we're just going to place it from this view then. So that gets popped in, and maybe I would have wanted this to be rotating around the other direction, but it should be fine either way. So now all this stuff gets built, Spidertron is doing a whole lot of work. And picking up a whole lot of random junk. Okay. So that will happen eventually. And let's see here. Now this whole area is going to have a lot of drones flying through it, which is going to be pretty annoying. What is all this down here? Oh, I see. Okay, yeah, that's fine. That's not exactly useful, but it's not harmful either, so we can just leave that. And just get a little bit of extra lightning tower collection in. And then this... Right, so these power poles haven't connected up yet, so we just have to get those placed across so that all the power poles are connected up. And then we apparently need a whole bunch more supplies. So, Fulgora support, you're here. You are delivering things down, but apparently not enough. You also need to deliver the steel chests and recyclers. Actually, recyclers are made on Fulgora, so those will just have to get crafted bit by bit. I don't know why we're low on them, to be honest. Okay, so yeah, now we're losing all of our drones trying to make this ridiculous journey. So let's just get out and start covering this area as best as we can. So that goes in, and we just have to keep on placing these lightning collectors sort of everywhere that the drones are going to. Oh, there's massive swarms of drones going up there before they turn around, so we're gonna have to get that whole area covered, otherwise all those drones will explode. And then we just need to just sort of cover up as much of this area as possible. And it looks like we're mostly in the clear now, although we were losing some drones up in this region as well, which I thought I'd covered, but apparently we need to push that a little bit to the north as well. So let's do all of that. And it's basically good. This is definitely like not a good way of fixing this problem, but it is what we're doing here. Okay. We have 20 recyclers. I don't know why it said we were low on recyclers just a moment ago. Maybe it was just because the drones hadn't connected up or something. Okay, so this drone port doesn't connect up to that drone port up there, so we need an intermediate one. And then all of this stuff will get built. There we go. Okay, let's see here. Do we want to have... What are all these drones coming up here even doing? Those are all logistics bots. They're probably doing, like, solid fuel loading or something. Something along those lines. You're bringing a steel chest down here. Why are you doing that? Where do you think you're taking that steel chest that down here was a useful place to start? Oh, I see we have a buffer chest. Okay, that makes sense then. Okay, so now we're up here. Let's get the Spidertron in to help a little bit. And we're just going to continue occasionally losing drones, and that's still just sort of all over this even further north route. that we don't really want them to be taking. It's fine. It's fine. We can afford to lose some drones every so often. Especially if it only happens during construction, right? Like, construction and extremely rarely when we're filling up our fuel requester chests. Those are the only times that it's a problem. So I'm not super worried about fixing it 100%. Although we are losing a whole lot of them. Why does it seem like this has been a lot worse than previously? How many drones do we have here? We have 300 logistics drones, all of which are busy. 1,000 construction drones, like half of which are busy. Aren't we supposed to be setting up like a good solid 500 logistics drones here? So we have logistics robots requested. Transport platform doesn't have many. Fulgora support. Okay, so there are just not that many available on Novice to grab, apparently. Which is annoying because we have like a billion of them in total. So, let's see here. How do we pull more of those guys out? Where did we have that set up? It was like in here somewhere, right? Okay, so we need to like rotate that around and that. It says we have 50 logistics robots on the way to get fed into this chest. So let's just even fill that up even more. And tell that to be like 100 at a time. And hopefully that will get that working. It worked for the construction bots. And it now seems to be working for the passive provider chests. Alright, so that should hopefully provide us enough logistics bots for all this stuff. And so now this is mostly done. Just looking at it. So a couple just random bits left, and then we need to connect everything up. So this loop here, we need an input belt into this and an output belt into that. So let's start by just finding a good old convenient T intersection somewhere. Like this one. Something like that. We yoink. And then we rotate you around to fit. And then you can just go in like that. It's so incredibly cursed though. Like it's a different ratio and everything. So it should still be fine though, right? So we just put you in like that. We connect up. We take that row out. And we are going to then connect you up to there. And we have to take that row out and connect you back to here if we can find somewhere that it'll work. Okay, did I just get that pointing the wrong direction? Yes, I did just get that pointing the wrong direction. Okay. So then you're connected like that, and then this side somehow works, and we just need you to go into there. And we can take out one of those. And then we can take out all of that. And then we should be good. And then I think we lost a lightning tower in that particular blob. So let's put that back. So now we have our T-junction. And the Spidertron can run back down to get it sorted out. So this is the input, which goes into here. This is the output, which goes into there. So we're gonna... It's very annoying that I've managed to make this in such a way that all these have to cross all the time. Like, I could have just not done that. I could have just built this correctly, or I could have fixed it at any point. But it's fine. So that goes up, and then around, and then back in. And then the Spidertron is going to have to run across and assign drones to all of it, so that all of this stuff gets built. And there we go. That's all of this stuff up here. And we should be almost in the clear. We just have to get all of this stuff assigned. Okay, so now this one is going to be labeled as stone recycler, probably. Stone recycler. There we go. Then somehow a train has gotten lost. How have you managed to do that? So you're supposed to be going from here up this... Oh, I see. This rail signal is broken. So let's take that rail signal out. And where was it supposed to be? It was supposed to be over that way. Oh, we're actually waiting on all this stuff to get built. I don't know what is taking it so long, actually. This should all be extremely buildable. So let's just dismantle all of those and try putting them back in. Like that. And like... Okay, this one seems like it's not connecting up properly for some reason. Did I do something wrong there? No, that should be fine. Of course, we've managed to assign super distant drones to it, so it's going to take a while. But it should get built, and then it should be all right. It's been assigned. Okay, and then we apparently also need to do some fixing up to the north of that. So you, the Spidertron, can run up there to deal with that, hopefully. And then all of this just has to get built, and we're missing this one railway. And there we go. So that's all in. Now the Spidertron needs to go up and do whatever it is that needs to be done up here. Like that. And now this whole area is built up. And that train is able to get through. So that's all good. And yeah, now we are just fully waiting on the stone and the concrete. And it looks like the stone technically jammed first, so that's good that that's the one we're working on, although the concrete will be shortly after. So this is called Stone Recycler. And signals, as far as signals, it probably needs a couple more. Just get, first of all, we want rail signals coming out of that. We want chain signals going into that. And then that should probably... We just want like one more set of rail signals up here maybe. Just for good measure. It shouldn't need anything too crazy. So let's get those built. Have the Spidertron run along and do that. And then run up here to get these. Okay, now I think we just need to label this train station. Where are you? Okay, this train stop has some gear wheels in it. That's a bit worrying. How did that happen? Are there any on here? No, that must be the residuals from one of the previous bugs. It must be the residuals from one of the previous bugs where we had broken things. Alright, so that's fine. So now we just need to find which one of you is the stone. It really blends in. So you are going to be... We give you this little stone icon, and you are stone scrap source. And there we go. Now that both of those are labeled, we can get in a train. So we get train and 1, 2, 3, 4 cargo wagons. And we just have to wait for those to get built up properly. And then we can get that set up. And it should be all ready to go. And we're apparently refilling the Spidertron with some items somehow. Let's set more things in here as things for the Spidertron to not have. So gear wheels, we don't need any of those. Landfill and foundations we obviously need. We don't need all these steel plates, so we can get those set out. And let's just leave it at that for now, probably. Alright, so this has gotten built. So you are going to be set to stone scrap. And then you are going to go to stone recycler, stone scrap source, the recycler until empty, the scrap source until full, and manual. There we go. Off you go. So that train will now head down here and start pulling all this stone out of everything. And that should get us running temporarily until the stone breaks in like 30 seconds after that. Or the concrete, rather. So that picks up all the stone and gets that all running. And so then the next we need is the concrete. So let's copy, paste all of that. We still have that one random extra little guy in the way, which isn't ideal. Okay, can you just fit... You sort of go off the edge up there, but in a way that I think is fine. Mostly. And we can then use this island for something useful, as opposed to just sort of leaving all that empty space to waste. Although it might be a bit close fitting in a T intersection on this. We'll have to figure that out. Alright, so we get the Spidertron in here, and we get as much of this built off of the Spidertron as possible, just to minimize drones being dumb and getting themselves zapped. Okay, so that is all in. And then we run down here and get that all built in, and now it's just a question of waiting for all the belt-related stuff, which we apparently need even more of. And Fulgora support is on its way still. Now we have requests for all these things, right? No, we certainly don't. Okay, so is that just because is that because we have these things and they're just not in the drone network up there doesn't extend to that, or is it because this isn't requesting them at all? No, this is requesting them, which means we should have them, and it's just a matter of the drone ports getting built and connected up. Yeah, the drone ports here aren't connected. That's the problem. So we just get a drone port down there, and that will get built up, and then we need to connect the power line up. And now we are just waiting on that drone port to get brought in. And we also need a little bit of extra lightning protection for the area. Okay, so that is in, which means that that's connected and that's connected, which means that all these guys should now, yeah, so now they've all been queued up and ready to go. Okay, so what is our input side is over here, our output side is over there. So let's take that down because I don't think we want that to curve that way. Same thing with you. So we want you to go in to there and over to there. And then we want you to go into there and over to there. And then we need some signals. So we get a chain signal going in. We get a chain signal going in. And we get a rail signal going out and a rail signal going out. And then we get that signal out of the middle of the whole block because that's the wrong place for it. And now this gets built up and should be set and ready to go. So this is going to be, what's it going to be? Concrete recycler. Concrete recycler. So we got that name in, and you're all set up and ready to go, right? So now all we need to do is just go back to here, label you as concrete scrap source. Concrete scrap source. There we go. So the labels are all in, and now we just need the trains. So you get train and 1, 2, 3, 4 cargo wagons. And then once that gets built, we should be all set and ready to go, except for this one rail signal, which we need to run the Spidertron over to build, because somehow we don't have any rail signals in the drone network. Not sure how that happened. But we've got 36 of them here in the Spidertron, so it's not really a major issue. Alright, so now this gets to get its train label. You are concrete. Okay, what are you called? Concrete scrap. Like that. And then you get concrete recycler, concrete scrap source. You go here until empty, you go there until full, and set you on manual mode, and off you go. Okay, now these signals are still a bit broken. So we need to take that one out, and then that chain signal. Why are you saying you can't divide segments? if I just take you out and replace you with a rail signal there, is that what we need to do? No. Oh, is it because we don't have a legitimate signal over there? I bet that's it. Yeah, so now that's all set. And we don't need to worry about it. So, now the concrete is filling up. And all the other items can go through. So we are at what? Like half of these, right? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of 12, I think, unless I'm missing one. So we're getting there, slowly but surely. I wonder what the next thing to break will be. I wonder if all these recyclers are working. So the gear wheel recycler is working. The solid fuel recycler is somehow working. It's probably because that recycles stuff back down into itself. The concrete recycler hasn't had the opportunity to work or not yet. And the stone recycler is working. Alright, so that's all going through. And it looks like the concrete is still in the process of draining back down to a reasonable level. So we go all the way back here. These boxes have higher values, but they're getting unloaded. They are getting unloaded. So that is going through. So the concrete all goes into this, where we load up this train, and it really does need to go fast in order to keep up, but hopefully it'll be fine. So this, all of the concrete has drained out and gone into there, and this is still filling up. So these concrete trains hold a lot, but not like an infinite amount. So I wonder if... Okay, yeah, so the amount of concrete on the belts has dropped off massively, which means that we're getting that under control again. And that's all good. So now we're not going to have massive concrete overfills, as long as this doesn't get jammed, which it might. I wonder what concrete recycles into. If concrete just recycles back into concrete, no, it recycles into stone, bricks, and iron ore. That's two separate things. So this is probably not gonna hold up once all this saturates, which it's definitely going to, because we have fully saturated setup back at this area, and still a steady supply going in. We have thousands of holmium ore, which is cool. 2.4 thousand approximately for each of these, and more like 3,000 in total. It's a good amount of holmium ore to have. I'm gonna start working on turning that into stuff soon. And of course, our recyclers are apparently keeping up better than our scrap supply is at the moment, which probably won't last. And it's kind of very near, very, very close. Actually, for some reason, it looks like half of these are getting more than the other half. I don't know why that is. Or is it just because they're running slower? It's probably just because this half is running slower than this half. Weird. Weird, but fine. So the concrete supply isn't an issue anymore. Those numbers are going down pretty fast. So the next thing we need to do is Let's just predict. Which one of these do I think is most full? It's got to be low density structures, right? It might be wire. No, wire is actually chilling because this stacks to like, it stacks to 200. And red circuits are fine. Batteries are fine. Yeah, let's just do, I guess it doesn't really matter. Let's just pick one and plop it down. Do I still have this thing in my copy paste save? Yes, I do. So we can get you just in here. There's not that much scrap there to be worth saving it all for. So we can just dismantle that and not worry about it. And then we just need to set this up. So these go forwards down to this general area. And then down to that general area. Is the Spidertron here yet? It is. Very cool. Okay, so this right side here is the output, maybe? Where's the station? Okay, yeah, the station is up here, which means that this is the output. Meaning this connects down like that, and then across like that, and this connects down like that, and across like that. Okay, now it is signaling time, so we need rail signals coming out of this in all directions. We have one there, and we need chain signals going in. So we get that one as a chain signal, that one gets a chain signal, and that one already has a chain signal apparently. So that should be all set up mostly. Now let's just get, oh, we need to connect all this stuff up together to something else. So let's just have you go, I guess you can just connect up via regular old power lines up to that way. And the Spidertron is going to have to build some of them, although we can just run some drone ports into those spots. And now we get our lightning collectors just there, and we should be in the clear now. So then we connect all that stuff up to power, and let's, I don't know, connect up that random radar to power just because. And now this whole area is apparently registered as missing construction bots for some reason. We still have plenty of those, right? Yeah. Okay, I don't know why it says 10 entities are missing construction bots when we have like 400 spare construction bots. Not sure what all that's about. Power grid's still doing fine, no issues there. So all these guys are doing their thing. Let's get the Spidertron in here just to get some of this stuff done as fast as possible. So the Spidertron is doing its job, just sending out a whole bunch of bots to pick up all this random junk, most of which is going straight to the old trash slots, which we're going to need to clear out the trash slots because apparently they're all full, which is kind of funny. Alright, so the Spidertron can do all that. And then we also need the Spidertron to run down here and get all this done. And this is going to be way faster than being able to use the same drones like 20 times in the time it would otherwise take for one drone to get across. Okay, apparently that drone connection doesn't work. I don't know why. Is there something about like how I copy pasted or something? Because it normally works, right? So now this whole thing is technically powered. Okay, we need to get these last couple power poles in. And now this whole thing is powered up, and we should see some of these guys start to show up again. Okay, that connection needs to go across. And all the rest of this stuff is still just waiting. Okay, because this drone port up there didn't get powered. So once that drone port up there is powered, the whole thing will work. And then this should all be connected up, and our drones should start doing stuff. And that should be, yeah, it's getting done now. So here come the drones. And now it looks like everything is all set up, and we just need to run down here to get that rail signal built, which is probably marginally important. There we go. So that's all connected up. This chain signal is wrong. Okay, yeah, so that needs to not exist, I guess, because it's sort of in the middle of this whole giant block here. So that goes away. And then all the rest of this stuff is going to be built any second now. And have we gotten a new thing that we're limited by? No, the answer is scrap. So we're at some point going to need to run through and get more scrap going. But for now, this is fine. We are going to call this one low density structures, because why not? It's going to be one of the things at some point. Low density structures recycler. That's a bit of a mouthful. It's a bit of a mouthful, but it's fine. Then we go up to here. We label you as low density structures scrap source. That's a serious mouthful. But now we just need to... Has this all been constructed properly? Seemingly, mostly. So now we just get our train and 1, 2, 3, 4 of those guys in, and then it'll all get built up. Okay, so that's going now, and once the train gets built, we will be able to have that going. And it looks like we've got just sort of relatively quick pulses of materials going through, so we can definitely stand to increase the supply of scrap. And that would just be by adding a second train in, probably. So this does all this stuff. It unloads like instantly, and then it's just already fully passed through pretty much immediately. Now, if we go up here, this is our main supply of scrap, right? And it has more than enough. Yeah, so let's see where we were building this guy down here. So let's finish this off first. So you are going to be the low density structure train. So you are low density, please let me spell, low density structure scrap. And you get to go to the source and the recycler. Go to the source until full, the recycler until empty, and off you go onto manual mode. Alright, so we have that. The next thing is we want to get the scrap through faster. So let's just get a random train station in here that's not gonna have any... not gonna cause any traffic jams while we build here. Because if we build at the actual station where the scrap is going, it's definitely gonna cause problems, like, instantly. So we're just gonna build you in there. And then add you to the scrap list. And then, if we go to here... these guys don't have train limits, right? So if we just add another train on, it should just be fine. Hopefully. Okay, so that is in. And it looks like all of the cars made it as well. So if I just assign you to the scrap group, and... oh, wait. First, we're going to... I forgot that putting a train in a station had consequences. Let's just flip that around real quick and try to get everything out of these guys. Hopefully we haven't overfilled these. No, it should be fine. Okay, so now you're in the scrap group. You don't have any weird stuff in your inventory, so you can go. And now that you're gone, we can swap these back so that when we do eventually build the blue circuit train system, it just works. So now, in theory, we have you coming out here, and you loop around and get filled up, and then shortly after you is another train who's just going to wait there. And this is fine. So train number 1 gets filled. And there we go. Train number 1 leaves. Then train number 2 pulls in and gets filled. And this should just help us use this supply of scrap better. And it's all filling up. Should be done now, and it's off. And even with 2 trains, this pretty heavily underutilizes the scrap source. But the first train is leaving already, and the second train is going to show up to get unloaded now. Yes, there you are. So we very much can still improve this. Like, even a 3rd train might work and should fit if we just probably need... we probably need a couple of signals in this area just so that they can queue up here if they need to, right? Instead of having to stay all the way back here. And I guess likewise on the other side. Gonna want a couple of those guys in. So the Spidertron can run along and put those signals in. Okay, so that is that. And now we should have just about exactly twice as much scrap going through here overall, which is pretty neat. It looks like... doing a pretty good job of staying stacked at all times, which is good. The gear wheels are still a serious limiting concern, but it's fine. For some reason, they started off... For some reason, the gear wheels sort of come in massive bursts. I don't know what that's about. But it's probably no big deal. So, the scrap is all going. And the low-density structures are all filled up now. Okay, so as somewhat expected, the concrete supply has jammed. So, what we need to do is just get this to sort of go through a couple stages. And so we get output priority right, and hopefully that will just do it all on its own. So the outputs are going to go up there before they loop back. And then all the recyclers have to get built. And all the bulk inserters to feed them. And then this is also going to have to loop back into itself with input priority left. So we've got all that. Now we just need this little extra bit. We just need this one turbo splitter to get this to work properly. And hopefully that will be enough. How much are these? These are only 2.4 items per second each, even at full speed. So we probably just also need more of this. So let's just get another giant block of that in. And now this is working slowly. It's very slowly working. And once we get this second row in, hopefully it'll be good. Probably just want to fill this up just as much as possible. So we're just going to put a entire second row there, and then it looks like the output supply isn't really the concern here, so we can just loop that all back up to here, and that's all good. And this should hopefully be able to deal with all this concrete in a reasonable time period once it all gets built. And Fulgora is apparently short on speed modules now, but Fulgora support is on its way with like 100 some of those, so that should be fine in the end. And now all this stuff is connected up, and it's just a matter of these ones down here being really slow. So yeah, this one has like 2 speed modules, that one has 2.4. So yeah, once all these get their speed modules, it's going to be real fast. It's going to be a while before that happens though. And even then, how much is this? 2.4 each. And that's 4, 8, 12, 24 times 2.4 is 48 plus, it's going to be 50 some, maybe 60 per second, which is probably fine. It's not going to be like absolute max speed, but then it doesn't have to be, right? It just has to be fast enough to keep up on average. Like, this is already mostly drained out as is with all this extra addition. And that's before these guys are completely speed moduled up. And Fulgora support has delivered everything it needs to. That's good. So yeah, these are now going at super speed and should be draining any second now. So we have that. Are any of the rest of these guys having similar problems? Stone looks fine. Gears look... gears always look a bit dicey, but probably fine. Unless the gear train is, like, about to show up, and it's not. And let's see, the solid fuel is going. We could definitely use a bit more work on the solid fuel, just because I'm not really making full use of both sides of the belt like this, because for whatever reason one side gets prioritized over the other. So we can drain it faster here if we, let's see, if this belt here, no, we want this belt to go over that way somehow. So you go over that way, and then you go in like that, and then this belt loops into there, and you are input priority right now, and that should just force this to be on a useful side of the belt, hopefully, so that we can have both sides of that belt getting used. So back up to this massive concrete block, everything is under control up there. Okay, so it's actually the steel which is limiting us now, and that is already starting to backlog, so let's get a thing in for you. And I copied something in the meantime, so we're gonna have to copy all of this, and let's see if we can just get it pasted onto this little island here without problems, although that's actually that's actually the larger one. We actually want to just copy paste one of the smaller variants and then expand it if needed, not copy paste the larger variant and then probably not need to expand it and then just have wasted a bunch of resources. So you go into there, Spidertron can run over. Okay, so this is actually, wait, can we just no, so can we just dismantle that? Because what actually, I think if I build it up like this, it should come pre-rotated up here. Hopefully it means I won't have to rotate again when I just branch off of this belt up here. Okay, so we've got, this is the input belt, and this is the output belt off here. And here we have only one-way belts, right? So this is the output belt. You need to just connect up like that. And this is the input belt. You need to just connect up like that. I don't like how close those two are, but is that right? So this here goes out, right? So if you're in here, you go up there, you loop around, and then you go out. Or if you're in here, you go up this way, you loop around, and then you're in. Yes, I think that works. So then let's just get a classic signaling thing. Chain signal there. Move that block signal down to there. And you get to be a chain signal now that you're split. And that should be basically fine. Alright, now we just need to connect this whole thing up with the existing drone port. So let's get a drone port there. And make sure it's powered. And then Spidertron gets that built. Apparently, speaking of Spidertrons, we don't have any lightning protection in this area, so let's get one of those built. Okay, then let's just bring the power lines across that little gap. And yeah, we're missing a whole bunch of construction bots and materials while we get all this connected up. Alright, drone port is in. And now all this is getting requested. But we still need these foundations to show up so that that drone port can actually be powered and do things. Okay, it looks like we're getting the materials from a buffer chest here, which is cool. At least a lot of them. Okay, then we need a little bit of lightning protection in the middle there. So there we go. Now all this stuff can get built. And it should be all connected up to the drone network, right? Yeah, it is. So I don't know why it's saying all these entities are missing material for construction, when it definitely 100% exists. And it's slowly figuring that out. So that all gets built. And while that's getting built, that train stop hasn't been set up yet, but we can label you as steel recycler. There you go, you're labeled. Now we pop down to here to find you and call you steel scrap source. Steel scrap source. There we go. And now we can get the trains started up, although these tracks haven't been finished yet, so we can't really do that. So we're basically just missing like this one straight rail there to get all this stuff built. Let's just start placing train 1, 2, 3, 4. Technically can get queued up at least. Okay, I somehow ended up copy-pasting the giant speed module intensive version of it anyways. I'm not sure how that happened. Oh wait, novice? We have lost some of these. Okay, what has happened here? This system there doesn't have a bulk inserter, and somehow the whole thing got jammed in the meantime. Someone placed that bulk inserter ASAP. And which one of these? Okay, yeah, some of these guys down here are hatching and then getting re-grabbed. So we just need someone to place that dang bulk inserter, and then we have the bioflux to do all this, and it's not a problem. Okay, there we go. Bioflux is now going through. Crisis averted. The weird things that happen sometimes. All the weird things that happen sometimes. Alright, so these guys now all have Bioflux. And it can loop all the way back through. Alright. Crisis averted. Meanwhile, back over here, we were doing steel setup. So you are going to get steel plates and steel scrap group. And then you get to go to steel recycler, steel scrap source, the recycler until you're empty, the source until you're full, and off you go. Have fun. Okay, so that should get that cleared out, and it looks like it'll be cleared out in time for the other things to continue working as well. This, I guess the nice thing about having these buffer chests in here is that we have some time before things completely break. Alright, so now you are loading up on steel. And we are apparently short on some things as well. So Fulgora support is back. So you need to request signals of both types. So you get 50 of those, 50 of those. That should get all that sorted out. And then in the meantime, hopefully the Spidertron will be able to run along and get them placed just so that it's functional. Okay, so that now all of this, we do need rail signals like... Okay, so what is this saying in terms of dividing segments? Is it because this whole thing is one massive blob? Yeah, because that whole thing is one massive blob, I think, somehow. So let's get a couple of block signals along there. And then get those placed. And now these guys are still complaining. Why are you still complaining? Because we don't have a chain signal up here, probably. So let's get a chain signal up there. And see if that fixes it. Okay, it almost does. But then we probably just need a signal there, and then just throw a couple of them over on that row. And then we should be all cleared in terms of wonky signaling. So now all these signals are showing normal stuff. So that should be fine. And there we go. So the steel is off getting unloaded. And it's seemingly getting back down to normal levels again. So that's all good. And is it cycling properly? Yeah, it's gotta be. Oh, I just realized that's annoying. Okay, I didn't hold shift or whatever when I was building this thing. And it got that to happen. So that all gets built out, and then the other side of this seems to be functional. It looks like that was the only problem. Also, the Spidertron is just hanging out in potential storm territory. Let's just run you back a little bit. And you now have several stacks of wires, which you definitely don't need, and several stacks of holmium ore, which you definitely don't need. And several stacks of iron sticks for some reason, which you definitely don't need. So let's get all of those set in your list of things to filter out, and then you should be all clear. Okay, so now the iron is all good to go. The iron train can return and keep this guy emptied. And the random poor drone fatalities to lightning strikes continue. We have a good solid 500 logistics drones, so it's not super worrying. Although, I don't like it when they do this. So you are all just busy emptying out the Spidertron. So that should be fine. Again, not something which is going to be consistently happening, more of a one-off thing. Okay, so the scrap continues to unload. And we sure are going to have a whole lot of scrap. So this is our input. It was 40 million to start. It's still 40 million. This one has gone down a little bit. Not by much, though. And we can definitely still put some trains up onto this without overusing it. So we might even need to set this up to unload scrap even faster. Because like this loading process takes a significant portion of time. And yeah, let's get started on that. So what we need is these guys. We need to flip them around vertically and point them in there. And then I think it's just a question of getting these belts around. You're gonna have to like go around that foundation pole. No, stop it. It just randomly decided to murder the train instead of the belts that I was obviously trying to get rid of. Okay, so this loops around, and that train support pole is unfortunately just sort of in the way. Can I just put you like there? And no, this whole area is just kind of scuffed. So there's just always going to be that problem. Okay, so we're going to have to actually then just completely rework this actually. So you need to, instead of looping around like that, you need to just go up here and then over, and please line up normally like that. So once that row has been built, then we can dismantle this current road that we're looking at, and then we should be all set without any of these annoying support pillars in the way. Alright, so that's in. So now, if we take this whole segment out, it won't break anything. So that can all go. And let's just place a signal or two up there. And obviously we're going to need to wait. Fulgora support should be carrying those by now, right? Do you have those? Yes, you do. So we need to actually get this place to request them. So let's go. You request 50 rail signals and 50 chain signals. There we go. That's all sorted out. Now, where were we? We were up here doing this. And this had been marked for deconstruction, but it isn't deconstructing. Is it like I need to get the Spidertron over here to do it or something? It's a bit weird. Don't know what's going on with that. Anyways, so in the meantime, we can get the rest of these guys set up. So we should just be able to do it like this, right? So this just expands past, goes up to there, and then all goes in. Why is this... Oh, is it because somehow it got messed up? Yeah, it got messed up somehow. Okay, so let's take all of that back. And then this just goes up like that. And let's salvage our poor foundation that we wasted on that. And there we go. So now we have even more capacity to load this guy up. And it's going to be going like crazy now. So that should be about as fast as possible. I guess we can squeeze a couple extra on each side as well if we need to. But it's already like insanely quick, right? So it's not a huge issue. Yeah, I don't think loading speed is a massive issue. Did that support pillar was important. So can you undismantle that, please? Okay. There we go. I don't exactly know what was going on there. This is still marked for dismantling, despite the fact that nothing seems to be going to dismantle it. Oh, it's because it's just barely out of range. So we're going to dismantle that and then just build it right back in so that it's not marked anymore. Get another mining productivity. Let's do another processing unit productivity, because why not? Alright, so now this whole thing is basically completely filled up on all sides. So that's cool. So let's get in even another scrap train, just so that this can all go as fast as it can. And this hasn't hit some other limiting factor. No, it hasn't. So yeah, I think we just need more other scrap train. So let's get this built in here. This is going to slow stuff down and possibly break things if this train comes around at just the wrong time. Okay, yeah. See, now this is... Weird stuff is going to happen once you leave. Yeah, no, stop it. Stop it. Manual control mode. Okay, so you need to not be the way that you are. You need to just be... Okay, I dismantled one extra track, but it's fine, because as soon as this stupid thing leaves, it's going to be even worse. Why did you get set back to automatic mode? That's not what I wanted. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2 trains down. Okay. So that all goes. And we just have to empty out this last train. And what we should do is just get somewhere in here just the ability to convert all this scrap that we have into somewhat usable, just put it back onto the belt, right? So we just do something like that, input priority left, and this is going to request scrap, and a lot of it, so that should get us done. Now this train is back down to the normal amount of cars, so it can go off. And yeah, building in stations where things exist is really, really annoying. So let's instead go here to blue circuits. Pretty sure this is where I did this last time. And we flip all these guys around, and we're just going to use this as a temporary construction station, which I should really just get an actual official construction station in, because I'm going to be adding a bunch of trains. But we can have this temporary one for now. So that can all get built, and this is going to be added to the scrap loop. There we go. Just waiting for that to get built in. That was our fuel, by the way. Still doing totally fine. And we're using recyclers in massive bursts, but it's fine. So you get added to scrap and automatic mode, and off you go. Now, this one down here is still occasionally used, as is this one over here. But we really want this one up here to be the main source, right? So this gets a train, but that train's going to be sitting there for a while. Yeah, can we set... Is this going to set all of the scrap sources to a train limit of 1, or just that one? Okay, good. Just that one. That's what we want. So now we have trains going through, picking up scrap from this. And then we're all good. Okay, how much scrap? Yeah, we have like 7,000 scrap in logistics storage. We need to get rid of that before it completely consumes the entire thing. And this is how we're going to do that. So that should just slowly drain excess scrap out of that. And can we just set this to be even higher, just so that it stays nice and full at all times, and eventually gets all this stuff gone. Alright. And yeah, this is definitely moving now. So we head back over to here, and still no other shortages have cropped up just yet. It's only a matter of time, of course. So let's see, we've got concrete is dealt with. So let's see, so holmium ore we haven't done yet. Concrete we've done, gears we've done, solid fuel we've done, ice we've done, steel we've done. Batteries are another one. So holmium ore and batteries, red circuits, wire, blue circuits. So it's like 5 out of 12 that we still have to do, I think. We're getting there. It's a slow process and a lot of repetitive, but not quite repetitive enough to just blueprint type of stuff that we're doing here. And the steel is probably keeping up. It's tough to say for sure, though. But it's probably mostly doing okay. Okay, so let's get another T intersection off of this, and I wonder actually... Yeah, no, let's just get another T intersection off of this. So you go... We're going to have the Spidertron in the area, of course, and we're going to use this Mega Island thing here to just sort of finish us off, hopefully. So we only need a couple more stops for this. So Spidertron goes down, and it seems to be being followed by a massive cloud of drones. Are you getting resupplied? Yes. Resupplied and also getting scrap pulled out. How do you have that much scrap? That is an insane amount of scrap for you to have just lying about. I don't know how that could have possibly happened. So yeah, you can just stand here. We're going to need those inventory spaces to pick up even more dismantle stuff once we're done with this. So all of the scrap gets picked up and sent off. In the meantime, our scrap recycling system up here has so far gotten like 2,000 scrap out of the deal. So we are clearing out that extra logistics storage space. And the Spidertron is almost clear on scrap. And there we go. We're also getting some other stuff delivered, which is nice. And we're losing the occasional bot in the process. Okay, but hopefully we won't have to do that much extreme scaling at this point. Like, once we get the last couple of these guys in, it'll mostly just be a question of, like, what's it called? It'll mostly be a question of building new things as we actually need them, as opposed to having to constantly build up 12 separate spots all at once. Okay, so you are now fully cleared. Spidertron, come down to this area. Okay, so let's get our T intersection in. So we have you go up there, and then we have you come down to there. Then we get these guys to go across, and these guys to go across. Wait, that's backwards. Those are not going across in the right direction, which would be very counterproductive. Okay, can I actually just undo those clicks entirely? Yes, I can. Cool. So you need to go back that way, while you head back that way. Okay, so that's all set up. And then we have chain signal going in, chain signal going in, chain signal going in. Can the Spidertron get close enough to do that? Chain signal going in. And then we get block signals going out. There. There. And there. Okay, so that is a conventional T intersection. And it all gets built. So now the Spidertron is going to run down here and place a lightning collector so that it doesn't get zapped too much during this storm. Okay, so now we need to figure out where we had copy pasted. So we copy you, and then we need like a couple of these guys, right? So let's just get them in back to back. So we get 1, 2. I cannot see what I'm doing because of the fog of war, of course. So let's get the Spidertron over there and get another one of you pasted in. That's 3. And that will be a start. Let's just get this all set up. So these are just barely... Oh wait, no, it's hard to tell whether they'll be connected along in terms of drone ports because we haven't gotten all the drone ports built yet. So let's get all the drone ports built. And does this drone port up here connect them all across? Please say it does. Okay, yeah, so this whole area is all interconnected. So now we just have to run over here, and we're going to have to connect the power lines across as well, but first let's just get these last couple ones built and then get the connection across the ocean there. And we're getting a good amount of just like the random railway placing stuff done as well, which is always a plus. Okay, so now we go big electrical pole off into the ocean, and Roboport goes with, and a lightning collector goes with. So this just has to get up to here. So big electrical pole off into the ocean with a Roboport and a lightning collector, which we then build all of those guys in. Then we get another big electrical pole, and Roboport's now connected. Lightning collector's now connected. And now we just get one last big electrical pole to bring all that back to the shore here. And then that should get that whole thing connected as soon as this drone port gets placed in from wherever it's going. So now we bring the Spidertron back down to start getting as much of this stuff built as possible, and we need to connect all these guys across. Looks like they are now. And we're starting to see these guys get assigned to robots. So hopefully that will just get done pretty quick. And we're out of logistic storage space somehow. All of these guys in here. I don't know how that's happened, but it's fine. We can build a nice big row of the stuff. There you are. These guys are just slowly coasting across, trying not to get zapped by anything. It's kind of incredible how slowly they're going. Okay, so now all these storage chests are going to get built, and hopefully that'll remove that little thing. Okay, so now we definitely have the storage space. It's like something to do with this cloud of drones flying down here. Is it because... Okay, it's because somehow, somewhere down here, the lack of power connection has prevented them from realizing that these are the same drone area. So we just need these electrical poles to get built up, and then it'll be fine. Let's see here. How much of this stuff can the Spidertron do? You have mostly train stuff, some other things, but mostly train stuff. Alright, so yeah, you might as well get all the train stuff done via the Spidertron. Save a little bit of work. And then that apparently requires... Okay, that requires a ramp, which we apparently don't have on us at the moment. We need these power poles to get built so that anything can happen at all. We have 45 power poles and electric storage. Need a little bit more. Somehow this has been connected up already. Oh, is it? Is that just because it's sitting next to a lightning collector? That must be the case. Yeah, that's funny. Okay. Not ideal, but hey, if it works, it works. Ideally, we just get that electrical pole connected up, and then the whole region is like officially properly set. Okay, so let's get the Spidertron just sort of back over this way. I don't know where exactly it needs to be. It's annoying that we've gotten... Okay, now that power pole is in, which means that a lot of this area is now stable, and then we just need that power pole to get in for this entire thing to be properly connected. So, that should hopefully be coming any second now. Yeah, there we go. That's that last electrical pole in, and now it is just saying we're missing turbo belts, which checks out. We don't have any of those on Fulgora support either. So that is just going to... That's just going to be a problem while all this stuff gets built up. Okay, so this is mostly going in. And we have the drone coverage. We have the power connection. We have most of the train stuff built, but not quite all of it yet. And it looks like the turbo belts they're occasionally figuring out that they exist. So that's fine then. And we just need a little bit of foundation up here for that to all get built. Okay. So that's mostly in at this point. Now that one is fully functional. This one is still completely broken because of belts missing. This one is extremely broken because of belts missing, but it looks like it's getting there. Now, Fulgora support, you need to head back at this point, because you're just like occasionally delivering some stuff which is causing weird stuff with the inactivity filter that I have for you. Okay, so now we have this all set up. So now what we need to do is we need these guys to just go out. So if we just take this line all the way out here, and then we connect all these three up to it, then that should get us what we need to do. And we need to spam a bunch of signals in all likelihood to get it to actually work. So this all gets built. And now the Spidertron can just get back into safe range while I do more planning. So we need these to go up. Now the left road is the output, the right road is the input, so these remain backwards, which is still just fine though. So this goes up here, and this is the input, which means it needs to go like that, and like that. And then this is the output, so it needs to go like that, and like that. Okay. And then we should just be able to copy paste this exact setup. This doesn't connect in properly at all. So we need that to go back a little bit, and then connect you into that. Okay, so we get chain signal going in, chain signal going in, rail signal coming out, rail signal coming out. And then we get, oh, what is it? So this is the input, so we get a rail signal here and a chain signal here. Okay, now if we just copy paste this a couple of times, we can get you there. And then we can get you there. And then we just connect those two up, because they need to be connected. And then those two are already connected to start with. Okay, now the Spidertron just comes along and... Okay, so this should work, right? That goes in there. That goes up there. Then Spidertron moves a little bit further along. That gets connected up. That gets connected up. Okay, so now we just have to hope that our poor little Spidertron here is good enough to do all this stuff on its own, or at least mostly on its own. Seems like some of this stuff is getting automatically built, but it's definitely taking a while. So Spidertron just runs along and gets all this stuff in. And once this is all in, we can just put the settings in and then just mark off 3 of these guys at once. So this all gets built up. And some of these guys they're waiting on things for, and I'm not sure why. I'm not sure what exactly it is that they are waiting to get sent. Like, if we dismantle you, connect you up, was there like a support problem or something? It might be that like there needed to be a support there and for some reason it didn't get placed. Yeah, that's probably it, actually. So let's just pop in a support there, and now it all gets built. Yes, okay. So, now we run down here, and with that new knowledge in tow, we can get a support there, get a support there, and now that's all functional. And we need to run over here and get supports in there and there. And that should be almost everything. We just need another support up there. And then we just need whoever is building this to show up. So let's dismantle it and rebuild it. Okay, so this whole area, I believe, to be set up properly. So now let's go back up to here and see what we're missing. We're missing holmium ore, batteries, wire, blue circuits, red circuits. Let's have this be wire, blue circuits, and red circuits. That makes sense as like a group of 3 things which would be together. So you are going to be copper cable, recycler, and then you are going to be red circuit recycler, now red circuit recycler, and then you are going to be blue circuit recycler. Blue circuit recycler. Okay, so those 3 are labeled. Now they each need trains. So we get train, train, train. And then we get 1, 2, 3, 4 wagons. 1, 2, 3, 4 wagons. 1, 2, 3, and 4 wagons. All right, so those are all built. And now, while we wait for those to get finished, we can go up here and call this blue circuit scrap source. Blue circuit scrap source. And this is copper cable scrap source. Copper cable scrap source. And then this is red circuit scrap source. Red circuit scrap source. Okay, so those are all set in. Now, if we go down here to these trains, which should be built by now, and they are, you get to be copper cable recycling. So let's go copper cable scrap. There we go. And then you get copper cable recycler, copper cable scrap source. So you go to the recycler until you're empty, the scrap source until you're full, and off you go. Then this one is red circuits. So you get assigned to red circuit scrap. And then you go to red circuit recycler, red circuit scrap source. You go to the recycler until you're empty, the scrap source until you were full, and then off you go. And then finally we have the blue circuit recycler. So you get assigned to be blue circuit scrap, and you go blue circuit recycler, blue circuit scrap source. You go to the recycler until you are empty, you go to the scrap source until you are full, and off you go. Okay. So that should be everything built for those three. And now it is just the holmium ore and the batteries which are left to go. And that's assuming that these work and that they get their belts and modules within a reasonable time frame. So we have another 200 belts coming. We need more. Where are... You can transport 500 belts at a time, probably. Can Novice support that? How many turbo belts does Novice have requested? Only 200. All right. Yeah, we're gonna want you to request like 1,000 of them, just so that that is all kept under control. And then the various Vulcanist supports are going to be able to deliver those, no problem. And speaking of Vulcanists, we have 57 legendary tungsten carbide. So that's cool. That's something which we're going to be working on in a little bit. For now, though, it's just a question of getting this all non-broken. Alright, so what is your problem? You are sitting there waiting for all these guys to go forwards. You have stopped in the intersection. Alright, that's a classic. That gets to become one of those. You also seem to be waiting in the intersection, although that's just because this needs to be moved a little bit further forwards. And this is not... That's like 1 pixel out of a valid drone range, apparently. So let's get that all done. Okay, I think our turbo belts have appeared. Okay, so that's in, and that particular thing needs to not exist now. Okay, so you are trying to get down here, but you can't because this block here is real big, probably. So can we get a block onto that? And will that fix the problem? No. So you're sitting at a block signal, and oh, I see. This guy is also sitting at a block signal. So we want another signal there. And okay, now how are you still? Well, something's happened. You're trying to get down into this blue area, which probably just needs a chain signal going in there, chain signal going in there, and then it's got block signals going out. Probably should be fine. Okay, we've done it. You're out of that intersection, and you should stay out now. So that should be all cleared, except for the fact that you are just sat in an intersection because this signal is too small. So that signal needs to not exist, and we just need you to wait to be able to get through this whole giant intersection block all at once, basically. Okay, so now the trains are moving. And hopefully they won't have to move frequently enough for this to be a massive crisis. But currently they are certainly a little bit congested. Alright, so that goes. And we should see some trains getting down there to start doing their job pretty soon. Alright, so now all these trains are in the station and loading up. And the blue circuits I've built, I forgot to flip these back, so let's get that all set up. There we go. So now you just get all filled up. And so far everything's looking good. So the downside of having it so distributed like this is that there's not necessarily one single place to immediately tell a problem unless it's advanced significantly to the point where it's like broken in here, which let's hope isn't the case. It looks like our scrap supply is being limited by output speed, which is to be expected at this point. Okay, I think I saw some express transport belts in there. Can we get those guys upgraded? The answer is no, we cannot. But hopefully we can get more turbo belts in to get those upgraded over time. Because we definitely want these belts to be full speed ahead, just as fast as they can go. The fact that those were randomly being limited by express belts is definitely a bit of a mistake. Okay, so the holmium ore is almost entirely filled. I have to imagine the batteries are close to. Yes. So the holmium ore and the batteries both need their setups. So let's get those done. And if we just go down to here and we copy. Okay, honestly, we can just copy like this whole setup, right? And actually, we can just copy like 2 versions of it. Okay, so this goes out to like here, basically. And then we're going to have this rotated around this way so that the rails are on the outside and the machines are on the inside. And then we're going to do a click And then we're going to get the Spidertron down. Time to get some building done. Okay, Spidertron is on its way. And there's just sort of a black wall there. Which... Okay, did this work? Yeah, I think this worked. Okay, so now this all gets to be built up. And we are going to need to run the Spidertron around to try to get like the drone ports and everything in. So there's a drone port. We need this connection to get made. Okay, it's being made eventually. We're losing a whole bunch of drones. And we're going to be short on a whole bunch of supplies as well. But that's fine. It'll get there eventually. Does this guy not have... Okay, so Spidertron doesn't have drone ports. Fulgora support does have those, right? Yeah, so that will come back with another 10 of those. No problem. And then this is all getting built. Yeah, let's just do what we can right now, which is mostly having the Spidertron build all this stuff. And all of this stuff gets designated. And we can run down here to get this stuff. And all the random junk takes so long to clear out. It's insane. Especially on our still pretty bad setup for the Spidertron. And actually, let's just get around to fixing that, shall we? So we can get Roboports Mark II in there. Although that's going to cause this to be broken in the short term, but it's fine. So Fulgora support, we need you to request Roboports Mark II. You only need 2 of them. So those are going to get launched. And then our Spidertron will be much better. How much better is it? So these are 30 by 30 and 10 robots. These are 40 by 40 and 25 robots. So that should add up to being significantly better. In the short term, you don't have anything, so you're just going to run back up to somewhere where you'll be able to access bots nice and quickly. So in the meantime, all of this stuff is getting built, and we're mostly just waiting on 400 belts. Okay, Fulgora support is on its way with... Is that 0? Yeah, it's just straight up 0 turbo belts. Novice has 500 apparently. And Fulgora is apparently getting hit by lightning strikes because this area down here didn't get covered. Okay, so it's just that one little corner, and there's not anything super expensive in it, so that'll get sorted out over time. Where did I send the Spidertron up to? Is it sitting on... Yeah, it's sitting on top of the fusion plant. That's a perfectly respectable place for it to wait. Might be even better to bring it just all the way over there. But also, I think we're going to be moving the... I think we're probably going to be moving the cargo landing pad just over to this area now, because this is now way off to the side of where we're constructing everything. So that's going to be something that we do at some point. Does transport platform have turbo belts? It has 500 of them. Let's bring those up to Fulgora. And you don't have speed modules or anything, but the turbo belts will be nice. And the Vulcanist support guys are still delivering turbo transport belts to Novice. and we just got some. So yeah, we'll get more of those on the next trip or two. And did we ever actually tell you to request more? So you're currently requesting 300. So you can request 500 at a time. Because we keep needing large quantities now that Fulgora is kind of not... is probably going to turn into like a super major base of operations for us. Not sure if it'll be like the main base of operations, but it's going to be a big one. So that is going to be important. Okay, so Fulgora support almost here, and once it's here, then the Spidertron will get its roboports. And is there anything else? We haven't bothered to go around and make the portable fusion reactors yet. I don't think we need it. At least not super urgently. The power situation has always seemed to be fine. Maybe the Mark II roboports will change that, though. Although if it's the only thing it's using them for, and then I'm not super worried about it either way. Apparently we have, like, no train tracks in the logistics network. Is Fulgora requesting them? It's requesting 1,000 of them at a time, so yes. But is this not delivering them for some reason? I don't know, let's pop those down. I mean, we have kind of enough. We have kind of enough on Fulgora, but I'd rather us have more. Okay, so any second now, those turbo transport belts are gonna land, right? Like those definitely got launched. Or wait, no. Those are the turbo transport belts that we delivered were on the transport platform, right? So Fulgora support delivered the personal roboports, which we need to manually drop. So those get manually dropped, and then we can remove them from our requests. Now that we have them, we don't need more. So back down on Fulgora, and there we go. So all sorts of additional things just got delivered. And those... The personal roboports still haven't been dropped. What is taking you so long? What if we retry it? No, it's just very slow. Okay, do you need like... Do you need cargo landing pads? Or... What's it? Cargo bays? Do we have any of those here? No, we don't. So that's probably the issue. Just takes freaking forever to get anything deployed. Does Fulgora support happen to have any of those on hand? Cargo landing pads. No, it doesn't look like it, unless I'm missing it. Does transport platform have them? Also no. Alright, so that'll just be fine. Don't need it super urgently anyways. So, did those personal roboports, have they gotten delivered yet? Alright, they're out of the orbital drop slots, which means they're on the way. Wait, did I just see? I did just see 4 cargo bays. So we can drop those down as well. And we can add on one. Just add on 2 of them for now. Shouldn't need a huge amount or anything. Okay, so now our personal roboports should get delivered over to the Spidertron. And those should be on the way. Is that them? I think that might have been them. No, that was something unrelated. Okay, hopefully they don't somehow get struck by lightning. Okay, there they go. They're traveling through a well-covered path, so we should be all fine. Okay, get distracted to do some charging. And then you should be good. Yes. So now we have 57 by 57 construction area and 50 max robots. All right, so that should help us out a lot, and obviously we would have finished by now if we just toughed it through with the old roboports. But now we've got the new ones. So Spidertron can start making its way downtown. And transport platform is here. It's delivered its stuff. And that should be good. Looks like we've got a whole bunch of guys moving around. 260. Somehow the number just went up a little bit. Up to 265. Now it's down to 257. I have no idea what's going on. But the Spidertron is within range now. So we are going to be able to move a whole lot of drones real quickly to get all this stuff built. That is like 1,000 times nicer than doing it the previous way. And this didn't get finished because I didn't have enough room in my copy paste thing or something. So those guys can go out, and then we get just like an extra support or two. And there we go. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to connect this side of things up to the top. So this goes out a bunch and then goes up this way. And then our Spidertron can run along and get all of that stuff built. And there we go. Then this one can also come up, and it's really not cooperating in terms of like the exact angle that I want it to be at. So please just do something like that. And then up to there. And then this one, we connect up to there, and then it connects over to there. And that should be everything. So now we just let the old drones do the work and fill in all this space. Then we're going to need to run along, do another pass to put some signaling in. And something. Okay, so this thing has happened again, probably. So are we just out of cliff explosives on you? No, we have 14 cliff explosives, which just got assigned to a super far away drone for some reason. That's fine, I guess. So we're just going to move on then and not worry about it. Okay, so now all that stuff gets built. And then it looks like we have more weird lacking foundation block things in there. And in there. Alright, now that's definitely not what the problem is. Now it's just stuff getting delivered from super far away. Because this whole area is within drone port range of something. Okay, so then let's get some rail signals just sort of in here, wherever. Just wherever I feel like. Just pop those in every so often. And then that needs to continue on all the way down here. The fog of war is like a millimeter away from where we're going here. So all these get placed. And then we just have to keep on running down until it's all good. And there we go. That ought to be enough, probably. Could maybe use like one extra in this gap. Yeah, I could probably use one extra in that gap. So let's go up to there. And then we go like there and there. And that ought to be all set up and good. Okay, now apparently that random power pole didn't get built in a safe location, so let's make that safe. And now we just need to set these up. So you are going to be holmium ore. Holmium ore, there you are. Holmium ore recycler. And then this one over here, that's you. You get to be the battery recycler, which is probably going to be more complicated, but that's fine. Battery recycler. Okay, so now that those are in, we need to get the trains built. So we get one train with 1, 2, 3, 4 wagons. And we get one train with 1, 2, 3, 4 wagons. And then we go up here to get these guys labeled. So you are holmium ore scrap source. And then we have to find the battery guy. That's this one. You are going to be battery scrap source. Okay. So, one last step and we're done, is we need to get these guys set up. So you are going to be, which one is this? I think this is the holmium ore one. So you go to holmium ore recycler, holmium ore scrap source, you go to the recycler until you are empty, you go to the scrap source until you are full, and off you go. And then we do the same thing for the battery. So you go to battery recycler, battery scrap source, you go to battery recycler until it's empty, scrap source until full, and off you go. Okay. That is, I believe, all we need to do to get a stable supply of each of these items, which doesn't depend on anything annoying. Alright, the batteries have filled up, but that's fine, because we are sending the train over right now. So the train will go over, it'll fill up with batteries and get that moving again. And that should be pretty straightforward. And then the holmium ore is right over here as well, and it's going off to do its thing. Okay. So we now have everything all cleared out. So our scrap supply seems to be enough that we're being limited by the sorting. It's either the sorting or it's literally the batteries. So we have enough scrap supply and we have enough output for everything to work. Now, if we check down here, none of these guys have run into problems yet. They probably will in the future, but that's fine. We will deal with that in the future. And this is all good. Novice entities are being damaged. That's fine. It's actually like a pretty big attack. And we missed it just barely. Of course we did. And apparently the Spidertron needs to get repaired. There we go. Okay. So this is all set up and ready to go. We have our nice little setup. And I say nice little setup as if this thing isn't enormous, but you know what I mean. So now we have the batteries going out, and that should keep us fully accounted for on every type of item. And let's see. Yeah, so the trains are pretty much capable of moving without too much problems. There's like a little bit of a delay, but it's probably fine, and there's not much that can be done about it anyways, and it'll be better once the battery supply is calmed down and this isn't running 100%. So yeah, that's all going. And now we have all this. Alright, so there's none of these guys are like stuck at the outputs, right? That would be a good way of knowing if there's a problem. Doesn't seem to be the case though, which is cool. So now it's just a matter of we need to spend more time optimizing this output system. So these are now all turbo transport belts, but they're still not quite right. So yeah, we're gonna need to optimize the sorting system a little bit more, which hopefully will not be terribly difficult. And then we just need to start adding in these systems to actually do stuff with all this. So we have like all these recycling things. Now we just need to make sure that things actually like get recycled, and now we need to start like doing the quality upscaling on all the items and all that stuff, and then also just crafting with all this stuff, and of course trying to keep our poor drones safe is a everlasting goal. So all this stuff, so that whole area should be more cleared out now, and it looks like we're gonna want to get this. Why are we bringing a whole bunch of science packs? Is it because I put storage containers in that area, isn't it? Yeah, I probably shouldn't have done that. Probably should not have done that. Although I'm not entirely sure why we have so many of those guys getting brought to storage anyways, to be honest. Okay, so this... We need a bit more coverage in this central area here, which we're almost doing pretty well on, I would say. So past this point, I'm pretty sure I had it pretty reasonably thorough. So that should keep us a little bit safer down to this area at least, and then through over to this way. This area here is going to be a bit of a death zone, but that's fine. Okay, so none of these guys are pretty much all just waiting to take their deliveries now, and the batteries and holmium, once they're done with this first massive burst, they should just sort of be sitting quietly for quite some time because they're by far the slowest. In comparison to the gear wheels, which is certainly very quick to run. Alright, where are these guys all dying? They're all dying in this general area, sort of around the edges of where I've protected us. Okay, that's annoying. Let's get the Spidertron up into this area and hopefully expand that out far enough that we won't have problems. And are we missing? Okay, yeah, so we could definitely use a little bit of coverage in this area. Had a bit of a blind spot for. So let's get those guys in, and now surely we've got to be doing super well in this big area. Just a couple of tiny gaps. And then decent coverage out to here, and then this area is a death zone, but that's fine. This area is also not super safe, but that's fine as well. Okay, so this is all set up. Now I think we are going to wrap up here for the day. So thanks, Em, for hanging out. I've had a lot of fun. Next time around, we are going to be staring at this silly sorter again and try to make it work less stupidly. Currently, we're being limited by like bulk inserter input speeds, which is not ideal. So we're going to try to fix that up. But that will be it for now. So thanks, Em, for hanging out. Next time around, we are going to be doing Satisfactory tomorrow. And, gosh, are we still working on singularity cells, or did we finish? I honestly can't remember. I think we might have just barely finished. Who knows? We'll figure out what exactly we're doing there. So, that'll be that. Thanks, everyone, for hanging out. Had a lot of fun. So, on Wednesday, we'll be back here. I stream every weekday from 2 to 5 Eastern Time, so make sure to follow if you haven't already. And that's about it. Thanks, everyone, for hanging out, and I will see you guys next time.